Hi again. So today I'm going to be talking to you about referred pain that comes from your neck and goes down an arm. So there are a number of causes for this, which is why we don't really want to be tackling this at home. It is best to get an assessment to work out where your nerve is being irritated. Sometimes that nerve gets irritated all the way at the top of the spectrum in your neck. Sometimes it gets stuck in a muscle through your shoulder, sometimes through your arm, and even into your wrist as a form of carpal tunnel. So it is important to get assessed and to make sure that the pain that we are actually treating is coming from the right spot. But I'm going to go through a couple of things that you can try at home, and you can give that a go and see how you get on. So if I go through what a neck looks like, this is your spine and it's facing forwards. This is the base of your head and you're looking that way. These are the joints, and up to about there is your neck, and you'll see that coming out of these gaps is the nerve. So these little yellow creatures are the nerves, and they would then go together here, form like a cluster of nerves that goes then down your arm and splits off into your forearm and fingers. So when people talk about a pinched nerve in their neck, it's generally a compression or an irritation of that nerve as it comes out of that little gap. And that gap is made up of two joints. So you can see that if this is the front of your neck, if you're doing a lot of forward flexion, the joints are going to be compressed. So a lot of time people will get it from doing a lot of desk work. So as you lean forwards, you're putting pressure on the structures in the front of your neck, be it your disc, be it your nerve roots, and those can then obviously get inflamed and develop some inflammation around them, which then narrows down the little gap where that nerve comes out of and then gives you that kind of referred pain down your arm. Referred pain down your arm can be dangerous in the long run if it starts to give you a feeling of deadness or pins and needles or numbness in your hands. If it has you have the inability to hold something in your hand, so you keep dropping like a glass of water or so, or if you get very clumsy with your hands. So those are something to look out for. Otherwise, it's not as serious as it sounds. People do develop a lot of symptoms and the pain can be distressing, and in those cases it is best to get some treatment, but this is not the case for our management today. Our management today is when you get that kind of dull, achy, kind of referred presence in your arm that you don't know what to do with your arm. It just feels like you kind of want to like cut it off. You don't know where it feels comfortable. And that is just like a nerve irritation. It's a pressure either in the nerves in your neck or along the shoulder muscles, and that gives you that kind of ache down your arm. And generally not all the way down. Sometimes you'll get like a bit of a tingling in your hands, but it's definitely not both hands at the same time, and it's more of an ache. It's not that sharp shooting electric pain. That is more of a nerve compression, and that we will deal with another video and with hands-on treatments and an assessment. So the first thing I want to tell you then is that, again, this has contributed a lot to posture. So with your neck being in that position, you're putting a lot of pressure in the front of your neck here. So ultimately what you need to do is get your head back. So the exercise is not very pretty. Again, this is going to be that exercise where you are aiming to get a double chin, and the more double chins you get, the better it is. So what you want to do is imagine that you're being smashed in the face. You need to kind of take your head back that way. So you're going to get yourself a double chin, and you're bringing your head back on top of your shoulders. So if you go side on, it would be a bit more like that kind of maneuver. So in the beginning, that might be all that you need to try and release those symptoms. You can try, and as you take your head back, you feel that the symptoms start to come back up. This is what we call centralization, and this is a good thing. Sometimes the pain or the numbness or the achiness is coming down your arm, and you feel that it moves from your forearm into your shoulder, or from your shoulder into your shoulder blade. This is a good thing. This means that the pain is centralizing and it's coming back to the source of the pain. So don't be alarmed if your elbow pain now suddenly becomes a shoulder pain. It's not moving or getting worse, it's actually getting better. It's getting worse if the pain starts retracting and going down your arm and into your hand, and your hand pain starts to get worse than your shoulder pain. That is the case to stop the exercise. That's when you need to go and get assessed properly. So ultimately what we need to do is do those chin tucks. You're going to do that 10 to 20 times every hour or so, just to try and get that pressure off the front of your neck And also it activates the front neck muscles to try and hold you in that good posture. So every hour or so, as often as you can go. If you're not getting release from that, you can use a towel, or if it feels very difficult, you can use a towel. You're going to hook that around the back of your neck and then take your head backwards. And then keeping that chin tuck, you're then going to take your head backwards over the towel to where you can control, not allowing your chin to flop backwards. You must keep the chin tucked the whole time and then take your head backwards. If that helps, you can go with that. If that's still not helping, you can then follow the towel with you. So you do a chin tuck and then take your head back to where you can and back, not allowing your chin to tuck or to flop out. So keep the chin tuck in, give it a little bit of pressure, and you take your hand up and down with your neck. So you can give those a try, see how you get on with those. Those should help to settle down that nerve pain down your arm. The next exercise we're going to do is a nerve mobilization. So you would take your hand out to shoulder height, and as if you're balancing a pizza plate. And what you would do then is just to take your arm out and bring it back in. It's normal to start feeling some tingles either in your hand, in your elbow, or in your shoulder, and bring it out and in. Now, to mobilize this muscle or this nerve, we're also going to add some head movement, because the nerves also come into your neck. So you're going to, when your head goes out, you're going to take your arm out, and when you'll bring your head back up and bring your hand in. So this we would call a nerve slider. And you would do this like 10 times. You don't want to overdo it, it's just to try and loosen the nerve. So your nerve is like, what we would say is kind of like a hose pipe. It's a nice thick band of nerves, and it goes obviously from your neck through to your arm. And I want you to imagine you're like a hose pipe that's been lying in the sun for a little bit. It's got a little bit of a give in it if you had to try and stretch it, but it's not very stretchy. Same thing with your nerves. It's got some give, but it's not very stretchy. So if it gets stuck in some muscle along the way, it's not going to slide or glide with your muscles as you move it. And those tensioning points can also irritate you and give you that kind of referred pain down your arm. So imagine it then, imagine if you're using your hose pipe while you're washing your car. If the hose pipe gets stuck around the tire of the car, if you pull it, it's got like that little bit of give, but it doesn't come loose. You physically need to go and give it that wiggle to get it loose. And in essence, this is what the wiggle is. So this nerve slider is you going to wiggle that hose pipe from around your car. So you can give those 2 exercises a go, just to try and loosen the nerve, and then obviously to get your head back into the right position. And then the last thing you're going to do is to try and stretch that nerve, or stretch the muscle. So you're trying to open up these gaps on the side of your neck here. So you would then take your head away from it and use the weight of your hand on your head and just try and fold. You can add this arm down underneath you to try and get more of a stretch. Again, this must be comfortable. You must just feel it as a muscle stretch and not giving you pain down your arm. If it gives you pain down your arm, rather stop doing it and get to a physio for assessment. So those are the 3 exercises you're going to try at home for this. Give that a bash, let me know how you get on.